All right, coming up on an all-new episode of Delmarva Sports Insider, Delmar football returned to action, looking for revenge on the last team that beat them a season ago.
That's exactly right, and the Wesley Wolverines back after a bye week against TCNJ. Let's just say this one got ugly pretty early.
And guys, could you guess it? Yeah, more football. Still to come, Maryland-Delaware action as the Lions from Queen Anne's took the trip to Sussex Central to take on the Golden Knights. Highlights are coming up straight ahead.
And with that, welcome to the first ever Delmarva Sports Insider at 11, the most comprehensive sports show you'll find on the shore. I'm Julian Sador, alongside the man, the myth, the legend, Trayvon Miles, and Philly's finest, Jeff Harris.
Exactly right.
Welcome, guys.
Yeah,
so,
man,
first thing we want to talk about, though, is this storm, Tropical Storm Florence, made it kind of crazy for the Bayside. A lot of games getting shifted around.
Yeah, and who would have thought that that we would have games from Wednesday all the way until Monday now is what we see.
But it's fantastic.
It's
good
great
because
to
they
have
split it
football.
up.
It's great to still have football around, and we can't wait to get into these highlights right now.
No, we can't. And actually, we're going to start with this game right here, 1-1 Parkside taking on undefeated Easton, and one hot start for Easton, Ryan O'Connor to Thatcher Knox.
Hey, look at this pass. This guy lays it right on the outside shoulder. O'Connor is a great player.
And 4 minutes later, O'Connor, this time to Grant Copper.
Yeah, check out this pass. Look at this fade and the shot. Man, he's able to get both
2
feet
feet
in. That is an NFL-style catch.
I see it.
But Parkside answers back before the half. Devion Waters finding the end zone.
Yeah, this is what Parkside needed in this game to cut it to 7 at halftime. Tough running. So shout out to Waters on that one.
That's right, but big play here. Easton fakes a field goal. Javante Mills, though, says not so fast.
Look at that special teams play. Special teams, they win you games just like defense, and they're amped up.
And less than 3 to go, Parkside would pull within one. Marcus Yarns.
They call this kid the Cadillac, and for good reason. 1 down right now, giving it to Yarns.
Rams elect to go for 2 and win. It's Yarns again.
Wow. Yeah, look at this. Right at the pylon. Oh, great shot there. They're pumped up. That is a way to take a game.
There you go. Parkside wins 15-14. Here's Coach Brendan Riley and Yarns post-game.
It was watching how our guy was playing, how our line was blocking, and their adjustment to it, and I thought, it was an easy deal. I was going for the win.
Man, I was thinking I got to get to the outside. It was 2 yards. And my offensive line told me follow him, I followed him, and I got it. And the blocks was perfect, man. And I couldn't do it without them, without the offensive line. They pushed me to do everything I had to do.
All right, guys, so I have to ask you, Trey, you called this correctly during our show that Parkside would find a way to win.
I got lucky.
What'd you guys think of the game?
Honestly, I was surprised looking at Jonah's tweets that Parkside was actually down in this game, 14-0.
Right.
But we got to give them credit for coming down or coming back from a 14-0 deficit on the road and being able to sneak past Easton.
Especially on the road, which is a huge win, and it was on Thursday night. But one of the biggest things that we've seen with this Parkside team is the depth in the backfield, the number of running backs that they have. You have Yarns, you have these other playmakers, and they got the job done. Low-scoring affair, special teams defense, the running game, and you win football.
Absolutely.
So would you say Parkside's back on track after that loss they took last week?
I would say so. North Carolina's a tough team. So, you get back on track. You got a good win here. You couldn't have lost this game. That was a good thing. Good teams win these type of games. So
there you go. And now for actually a deeper look, let's send it over to Jonah Restuccio at the wall. Jonah, what would you say the difference is in our Maryland game of the week?
Julian, we all saw the 2 plays that won it basically for Parkside, so let's take a deeper look. We're going to roll the tape right here. We're going to start with the Yarns touchdown. As you see, just busts through the line, beats a couple tackles, but when we slow it down for you a little bit, the junior sees that his hole right there is closed, so he bounces back to the inside where he came from, keeps his torso down and his shoulders level to the ground, and he powers in for that score. So now to the 2-point conversion. Coach Brendan Riley elects to go for it. Yarns gets great blocking, and of course, the extra effort to get inside the pylon. Now, was his knee down before crossing that plane? Who knows? But you can see he gets blocking from his O-line and Devion White to get that, what would be the game-winning 2-point conversion. Now, one of the best individual efforts that we've seen so far this year in the Bayside. Now, Julian, you talked about it with the hurricane weather. Most of the other games have been moved up as well in the Bayside. We'll start on Wednesday with North Carolina hosting Cambridge. Both these teams coming in with short weeks of rest. First drive of the game, it's going to be the senior Will Manship. Finds himself with room to run on the right side. One of his 3 rushing touchdowns on the night to put the blue and white up 7-zip. Cambridge offense wouldn't have much going in the first half. Kendron Wayman, look at that. Breaks through the line for the sack. And then in the second quarter, the Bulldogs really just extending their lead. Quarterback Casey Bird rolls out. He doesn't like what he sees downfield, so he just runs it downfield. 57 yards to the crib. North Carolina up a staggering 33-0 at the half, living up to their 47 ABC #1 ranking, of course. Second half, Cambridge finally gets on the board. NC botches the handoff. It's a scoop and score, a wide open 66 yards for Mr. Kanye Pinder. That makes it 33-6, but in the end, wouldn't be enough. Trenton Hilliard with another score. Caroline, they roll past Cambridge 45-6. Then moving over to Berlin, Stephen Decatur hosting Washington. The Jags looking for their first win of the year, but the Seahawks, they wanted their second. Already up 6-0, London Drummond weaves his way through traffic and finds the end zone from 30 yards out. That tacks on another 6 for Decatur. Washington offense struggling to find a groove, but Trey, you know this guy pretty well. Riley Horner with a bomb 59 yards to put the Jags on the board, but there was no stopping the running back tandem for Decatur. Devin Waters and Drummond combined for 5 touchdowns, not in the game, in the first half, as Decatur soars 46-7. And up in Caroline County, Y-High visiting Colonel Richardson. Indians trailing 7-0 early until Cam Kuda strikes from 15 yards out to take the 8-7 lead. Now after a Colonel field goal to retake the lead, Y-High takes it right back. Khalil Evans finds Josh Shockley on the slant. He's going 30 yards to the house. That puts the Tribe up 16-10 at the halftime break. Third quarter now, Colonel with the rock, but Ronnie Satchel, he just says, gimme that. Literally just rips it out and runs the other way. 80 yards, not even a scoop and score. I would just call that a take and score. Y-High gets the 38-10 road win. They draw crosstown rival Parkside next week. Might be a favorite for our game of the week. Trey, Jeff, Julian, what other scores do we have from around Maryland?
Now, one final score in Maryland from last night. Kent Island, check out this score, 7-0 over Kent County.
Yeah.
I know I thought this might have been a more high-scoring type of affair.
Very surprising score we saw right there, and we talked about it last night. We got to give credit to a young Kent County squad. We thought Kent Island would come in there and just roll, and that
only
is not
7-0.
what happened. So we got to give them credit. Their defense played really well, really phenomenal game defensively for them. Also want to note, Snow Hill and Arcadia will be on Monday. Also Bennett and Nandua also playing on Monday. Bennett and Nandua playing at Salisbury University. So
there you go, playing on
big
the
stage.
Yeah,
that's right.
I got to ask you guys, we've seen everything that Maryland has had to offer so far. What do you guys think? Any shakeups in the Bayside, possibly to that top 5, Trey?
You got to admit it, not yet, but you're going to admit it.
Maybe. I'll say maybe. I really like what Y-High is doing. I don't want to get on the bandwagon yet because of who they play, but you're only as good as your record. So their schedule, considering their schedule, they beat the teams that they play. We can't punish them for having some bad, there's no such thing as a bad win. So we got to give Y-High some credit. Also like what Parkside did when they were able to come back from a 14-0 lead against Easton. Okay?
You always have teams at the top of your conference, like the North Carolines, and you have teams at the bottom of your conference, which generally have been the Y-Highs and the Kent Counties. But now you have a good mix, a good cluster of teams right there in the middle that could emerge towards the top. They could take that, number 2 spot. They could come to number 3. So it's really interesting this year. A lot of talent within the Bayside. I love Y-High. I love Parkside.
Really interested to see what happens next week. Y-High versus Parkside.
There you go.
That's
always a good one.
That's going to be the money.
I think we know who's going to be. I think we know who's going to be there to cover that game. So pretty much, himself. Jonah and I are just going to say go to some other game. That is where Trey's going to be.
Yeah,
there you go.
We'll see.
All right, guys. Coming up, we shift things up north to Delaware with a full recap of some of the first days football.
That's exactly right. Lake Forest in their home opener with Tatno in town. That's next when Delmarva Sports Insider returns.
This is Coach McCormick from North Carolina High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.